begrudgingly. You're listening to Eyes Open with Brother Tony Brown.
This is Kurt Carr, and you're listening to Eyes Open with Tony Brown.
Well, let me say this. I'm very honored to be on because anyone that knows anything knows in Louisiana, if you're not listening to Tony Brown, your eyes are not open yet.
This is Reverend Jesse Jackson. You're listening to Eyes Open with Tony Brown and Keep Hope Alive.
give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 310 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary without delay can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
Introducing Dr. Ogali Ileye with Foot and Ankle Specialist located at the 415B in Deer Street, right behind the hospital in Natchitoches. Every step you take depends on the condition of your feet. Dr. Ogali Ileye is a former college athlete. Also, he has vast experience in sports medicine. As a licensed podiatrist, Dr. Ileye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, nail problems, infections, ingrown toenails, patches, warts, wound care, and more. The professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialist, 415 B and Deer Street in Natchitoches, can help you get back on the good foot by calling 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Ileye with Foot and Ankle Specialist in Natchitoches today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Ileye with Foot and Ankle Specialist, 415 B and Deer Street in Natchitoches, the only podiatrist in Sinlock that is one step ahead of everyone else.
Would you like to be part of a vibrant community of makers and innovators? With manufacturing, warehouse, and distribution space available for lease, England Air Park is the perfect location for your business venture. We make doing business easy with no red tape and flexible leasing options to meet your needs and support your growth. Take your business to the next level at England Air Park. Visit englandairpark.org for more information on available buildings.
Far too many of you crying. I need to say this. Brother, my brother.
for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Calling all passengers, we are now boarding. Wherever life takes you, Alexandria International Airport can get you there. Discover unlimited options when you fly out of AEX from industry-leading airlines American, Delta, and United, with daily flights to Atlanta, Dallas, and Houston. And introducing new daily nonstop flights to Charlotte, North Carolina, beginning April the 2nd. With new nonstop destinations and connections worldwide, traveling with AEX is faster, easier, and more convenient than ever. Visit flyaex.org and book your flight today.
qualified community health care center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical health care services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Health Care Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified Kid Med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Health Care Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Thanks for tuning in to Eyes Open with Tony Brown. The show airs daily, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m.
stay. Okay, we're back right here in your premier morning news magazine, and of course, it's time for the kids' prayer. And of course, hopefully next week sometime we'll start going back with kids' lunchroom as school gets underway. I think on August the 9th, which is Tuesday. Hey, good morning, Kaden. How you doing? Good. Okay, you're doing good. Okay, you had a good weekend. What'd you do this weekend? Tell everybody.
So I went to the zoo, to Little Lake, and
Indian Creek Lake, and then what did we do that night after we went to the lake? We went bowling. That's correct. Turn the mic back on. For some reason, there you go. And then what did we do?
I can't hear you on the headphones right.
You can't hear me? Really? He can't hear me, and I can't. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, I had to plug you up. Okay. So we went to the zoo. Then we went to Indian Creek, the lake, had fun, and then we went bowling on Saturday. Had a good weekend. You wore me out, so I had fun. I'm glad I had you over. And you had a chance to come spend some time with Uncle Tony and of course Kate, Adrian and Andre. So you got a good prayer picked out for us today?
Yes, it's called Unlimited Chances.
Okay, well let us pray.
Dear God, I am so glad you will forgive me. Please help me tell the truth to you and others, even when it's hard. Amen.
Amen. What a good prayer. Thank you, Caden. High five. Go get us set up over there for the game. Now let's go live to Lake Charles, Louisiana, where we have meteorologist Lance Escudé with the very latest on the weather forecast. Hey, Lance, how you doing?
Oh, good, Tony. How are you this morning?
Man, we had a little Google gobs of weather over the weekend. I mean, I kind of liked it. Saturday was just hot. We got some thunderstorms. I guess about 6:30 or so that came in. Those little popcorn showers you guys always talk about. And of course, yesterday we got some as well, which made for a pretty awesome cool down, being that we were in these 90-degree temperatures. So, how are we shaping up for today? And then let's take a look at the extended forecast.
Unfortunately, today is not going to be a good day across the region unless you like showers and thunderstorms, and you'll be really happy today. We're looking at activity along and ahead of kind of I guess it would be an early season cool front that's dropping southward towards the area as we speak. Latest check, the front is up around, say, the I-20 corridor, North Louisiana. Seeing quite a bit of showers and storms ahead of the front. Those are going to be sagging southward through the morning. And in fact, those of y'all in central Louisiana may be hearing the thunder booms already as we see showers and storms moving through Natchitoches down towards Alexandria as we speak. Rain chances for today are pretty high, unfortunately, about 90% or so for a good bit of the day. Those should last into the evening. And then depending on where you're at in the state, the front will be getting through the northern and maybe even the central parts of the state by later on this evening. So we'll see shower activity diminish up across the northern part of the state. Tomorrow, probably in the morning hours, we'll see scattered showers and storms again. Hopefully, though, by the afternoon, we'll begin to see the activity move farther south as the front gets closer to, say, I-10 in that area. And one benefit, of course, of the added shower storms will be a little bit cooler temperatures, looking at highs in the lower 90s, which is still about seasonal for this time of year, but it's definitely better than the mid to upper 90s like we saw through the latter part of July.
Absolutely. So our percentage of rain for today, what, upwards of 80%?
80-90% for today, and probably for this evening as well, and then diminishing, say, late evening and definitely for the overnight hours. Still a chance of rain overnight, 20-30%, but certainly that's better than what we're going to see for the rest of today and the evening hours.
And we take a look at the extended forecast for tomorrow and Wednesday. Are we looking at maybe a repeat of the same?
Like I said, for tomorrow, hopefully by the afternoon, we'll begin to see the activity move farther south, closer to the I-10 corridor. Wednesday is actually looking like a fairly pleasant day. Rain chances for our part of the world are fairly basically exclusive to I-10 south on Wednesday, and to the north of I-10 across central Louisiana. We're going to see temperatures topping out 90, 91 degrees, which is a few degrees below normal. But more than that, our dew points, which of course, is a reflection of the moisture in the air, we're going to see those in the 60s as opposed to the lower to mid-70s as we've been seeing more recently, which is more common, of course, during the summertime for this part of the world. So it's going to be drier both rain-wise and humidity-wise for Wednesday. Thursday, the little frontal boundary begins to lift back northward, so we do see a slim chance of rain for the afternoon, only 20% or so. Unfortunately for the weekend, though, we get back into more scattered summertime-like showers and storms across the area.
Hey, thanks a lot, Lance. That was a very thorough forecast. We appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, Lance Escudé, meteorologist with the National Weather Service, giving us forecast for the day and the entire week. And, of course, the little kids' prayer with my little man, Caden Johnson. All right, I tell you what, folks, we're going to have more eyes open when we come back. Don't go away. Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community health care center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical health care services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Health Care Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Health Care Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Denisha Edwards, City News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. The COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300. All of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
Introducing Dr. Ogali Ileye with foot and ankle specialist located at the 415 B and Beer Hospital in Natchitoches. Every step you take depends on the condition of your feet. Dr. Ogali Ileye is a former college athlete. Also, he has vast experience in sports medicine. As a licensed podiatrist, Dr. Ileye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, nail problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. The professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists, 415 Beanville Street in Natchitoches, can help you get back on the good foot by calling 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. All right, top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Perfecto. On this mellow Monday, it's August the 2nd. We're in an entire new month. Q's at the helm, getting everything ready. We got the very latest on COVID-19 as thousands of people are being affected by the Delta variant of COVID-19. We'll visit with Dr. David Holcomb with the Office of Public Health at the very latest. Even children, as we speak this morning at Our Lady of the Lake Medical Center, the state's largest flagship hospital, has 12 children in the hospital. 7 of them are in the emergency room. So COVID-19, particularly the Delta variant, which we know is 10 times more aggressive than the Alpha variant, and it is causing stress and a lot of people to become sick, even children. So we got Dr. David Holcomb coming up in just a few minutes. Your statewide news you can use coming up. Man kills grandmother, wounds 4 more, including his mother in Baton Rouge. The guy never had a record. A violent, don't know what happened, a mental breakdown, don't know what happened at his home. We'll tell you about that. 2 people shot at Mudfest, including Zydeco musician Chris Ardoin, my homie. Shot, can you imagine? The biggest fear of a entertainer is to be on stage performing. You're turning around to your band and you get shot in the back.
Yeah, the promoters, believe me, are going to be sued out the yin-yang on this one, folks. You are supposed to protect not only the people that come in there, but you must protect the artists. And if you have a mud fest and at the gate you're not checking people for weapons, you're not scanning people because you're allowing cars to come in, people to go back and forth for their car, whatever the case may be. Mud fests are becoming increasingly dangerous. You take a whole bunch of mud, weapons, and you add the toxic mix of alcohol, somebody gonna get hurt. I would never allow my children to attend a mud fest. It's not gonna happen. It's too out of control. So we're gonna pray for Chris Ardoin down there in Lake Charles. Is unfortunate to come all the way to Grant Parish to be shot for the first time in his life. So his wife says he is doing well, but Chris Ardoin shot in the back while performing at the Grant Parish Mud. How many of these things do they have? I thought they just had one. When I look at the video, I say, oh my God. Look like talking about going all the way back to Africa. You know, just wildness, just heathenism. It's just out of control. I would never let my daughter, teenage or otherwise, attend something like that. A multi-car crash, a wedding, and a shootout, how the Monte Carlo became a hellhole on Saturday night. I don't know what's happening, but from Baton Rouge to Alexandria. Alexandria had 4 shootings over the weekend. 4 shootings over the weekend in the 8th most violent city in America. As Alexandria police are seeking information from the public regarding a shooting that took place on July the 29th in the 3100 block. That's on Thursday. So on Thursday, you had a shooting in the 3100 block of Chicago, and you had a shooting in the 3700 block of 14th Street on August the 1st. Okay, let me count the shootings, Q. I'm trying to count them here. July 29th, which is Thursday, 3100 block of Chicago, and the 3700 block of 14th. That's 2 shootings. And then on August the 1st, you had a shooting in the 300 block of Bayou Drive. That's number 3. Y'all count with me? Y'all count with me? Yeah, that's number 3. Then when you add Alexandria police seeking the public's assistance and locating the person wanted for the shooting that took place in the 2900 block of Broadway. That's shooting number 4. That happened also on Thursday. I think they have a suspect in custody on that one, at least one person in custody on that one. And then when you add in our area the 2 shootings in Grant Parish, the one of Chris Ardoin in the back and another person who was attending the Mud Fest. And so presumably these guys were trying to flee the shooting, and people trying to get out, jumped on the running boards of somebody's truck and had guns in hand, Q. Like they were Secret Service on the president's limo, trying to get out, guns in hand, getting out of the gate. If I saw something like that, I would say, oh my Lord, where are we? In Angola, Africa? Where guns are just wide open, people just have no problem holding them up, shooting people, and getting out on a cuff? This is crazy. Keep your people away from these mud fests. They're dangerous, especially if the promoters do not check for weapons and when you add alcohol. Ask Chris Ardoin if he'll come back to a mud fest. I don't think so. And I can guarantee you those promoters will end up in court. You got to protect your entertainment. You got to protect the people that you get the money from. 15 rescued from the Made River. Is this going to be a weekend thing? Another 15. That seems to be the magic number. Every weekend, 15 drunk people. 15 drunk white people. Let me just add that. Get pulled and go way past where they're supposed to go. That river is not for navigating on an inner tube. It's not even for navigating. It's treacherous. It has undertows, and many of the people who sit their fat behind on those tubes can't even swim. So even if you tip over after drinking a 6-pack of Lone Star, or Falstaff, whatever y'all drink, you become inebriated. And you're sitting out there, and then you roll your fat behind over, and next thing you know, you're going under and you're not up. 911 lines overwhelmed by non-emergency COVID calls. It puts a huge stress on the system. This is happening all over the state as idiots are calling 911 asking where they can get the COVID-19 shot or where they can get the test Q. You believe this? Do you believe this? Why would you call 911? Why would you just call the local medical? Why would you just walk into the pharmacy, CVS, Walgreens, your health unit? Idiots! Come on, folks. Get the cobwebs out your brain. I know some of y'all I just know there's no cure there's cure for ignorance, but there's just no excuse for stupidity. 3,000 inmates in Louisiana could get parole under a new law. We'll tell you, it's happening soon. Don't get scared. They deserve to get out. We're going to show you the new laws now, including abortion and marijuana, that took effect over the weekend. Since LSU won't mandate masks, faculty vulnerable to COVID asked to keep teaching online. Hit that out for me, Q. With COVID surging again, some schools say they'll do frequent testing. But get this about the testing. There's money in there to when they do the testing, Q, at these schools, high schools, and particularly these colleges. Every time you go in and get a test, you're going to get $10, folks. And what that amounts to is nearly $1,000 during the school year for the fall and the spring. If you go in once a week and get a test, you get $10. That's lunch every day, kid. I mean, where you going, man? Go get my lunch money. Well, how you get that? Just put a little swab in my nose. It's all good. First school test results amid COVID are coming soon. They're going to be here Wednesday, folks. Stop biting your nails, parents, to see how bad your kids did or how bad the school did. Walk-On's franchise chimes among recipients of $48 million restaurant grants to help Louisiana. And does it seem like it's raining harder? Well, it is, according to LSU research. Speaking of rain, upwards of 85-90% chance of rain today. Let's do like the Delphonics. Sometimes you want to go outside in the rain so they can't see you crying, Q. Good morning.
It may sound crazy, but I want to go outside. In the stars falling on my face, you won't see a single trace of the tears I'm crying. Because of you I'm crying. Don't want you to see me cry. Let me go, let me go, let me go. Once the sun comes out and the rain is gone away, I know I'm gonna see a better day. Right now I think I'm crying because of you. I'm crying. Don't want you to see me cry. Let me go, let me go, let me go. In the rain.
back right here on your premier morning news magazine. Glad we got our signal for the folks who are streaming us on Facebook. Thanks for calling up, Linda. We really appreciate that. Linda, out of Bunkie, Louisiana, keeps us on our toes to make sure that you all can listen to us online. And, of course, we're streaming on all the Facebook pages, as well as Eyes Open T. Brown on Twitter and Periscope. And, of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Eyes Open with Tony Brown. When I take a look at the numbers, the totals as for Friday, because with this Delta variant, which we know is 10 times more contagious than the original Alpha variant, now the numbers are now back up at the top of the page. We know that the New Orleans Mayor, Cantrell, has issued a mask mandate for her city. And I tell you what, as New Orleans goes, so goes the rest of the state. So if you guys don't think mask mandates are coming back, and of course they're encouraging anyone, vaccinated or not, to wear masks indoors. So they're not calling it a mandate, they're saying it's optional. And, of course, we still have vaccinations that are optional. But when we take a look at the new confirmed cases as of on Friday, we're looking at more than 1,000 new confirmed cases, probably close to about 1,100 when you add the probable new cases. So far, the amount of deaths, new confirmed total cases, we're right up at, when you add the probable cases and the confirmed cases together, we're well over 500,000 COVID-19 cases in the state of Louisiana, right at about 550,000 or more. When you take a look at the amount of deaths, the probable deaths and the confirmed deaths, Louisiana is probably close to 11,000 people in the state of Louisiana have died. As we speak this morning, Louisiana has the highest COVID-19 rates in the country, as this was reported just to me this morning by ABC and CNN, as all of them are talking about Louisiana, particularly going down to Our Lady of the Lake, where they are focusing on the 11 children who are now in the hospital at Our Lady of the Lake, children who cannot get the vaccine, who are all under the age of 12, 6 of them in the intensive care unit as I speak. This in the wake, in just a few days, as many students will be returning to the classroom here in Louisiana on next week. Now, they went last week down in the Georgia area, Q. 2 days into the school year in Georgia, already more than 100 people, including children, are now at home quarantined because of the Delta variant. And what's very problematic is about all of the teachers who have also gotten the Delta variant of the COVID-19 in Georgia in that classroom. Not one of them, of these adults, have gotten the vaccine. It's problematic. Is that something we're going to be dealing with this firestorm on next week? Well, I'll tell you what, let's go to my man, our medical director for the Office of Public Health for Region 6, Dr. David Holcomb. Doc, when you take a look at that scenario and you look at that equation that I just rattled off, when you do the numbers and add it up, if we approach the school year as if all school districts are an island, which they have their own authority, whether they're going to mandate masks or not, it's optional. I know in Rapides they might be encouraging it, with the exception of being on the school bus is mandated. But this, to me, is a firestorm waiting to happen. We're already seeing what's playing out in Georgia right now in the classroom with small children.
Well, we're going to be experiencing the same scenario very, very quickly.
Yes.
And, you know, I really feel sorry for the kids because they are not actually eligible. But I'll tell you, you know, I went with the National Guard to the back-to-school bash at the Alexandria Convention Center yesterday, and they had hundreds of kids there. You know, many were not eligible, but there were also parents. There were also kids that were 13 and above. And we did 13 shots.
Are you kidding me? Out of hundreds that were there, only 13. Are parents passing their fears onto their children about the vaccine? And do you think there's a higher number of parents is there numbers of parents who aren't getting the vaccine but are allowing their children to take it? Because we know what happened to that state lawmaker down there. What's his name? Clay Higgins, who probably had the Alpha variant last year, and now he has the Delta variant. He just announced, I think, last week. So not only did he jeopardize himself, but his wife and his child all now have the Delta variant, and he has to focus on that because he says this one is much more serious.
Yeah, this is, it just, despite everything you have done, I have done, everybody has done, the message just seems to not resonate. And in the case of very small children, it's really the parents' responsibility to at least get themselves vaccinated.
Absolutely.
And the teachers need to be vaccinated. It was very distressing. There was a group of law enforcement down there, and I went around and, checked to make sure that all the vendors actually had been vaccinated, and there was a group of them, and there was not one that had been vaccinated.
Wow.
And they stood there, and they told me things that were all about fear of, long-term side effects, fear of this, fear of that. And here are the people that are there to protect and defend us, who are fearless, and will go into a dangerous situation, and yet they will not get a vaccine.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And we're talking about cops. We're talking about cops that interact with the public.
I explained to these gentlemen. I said, "Look, you're picking up people every day and bringing them, around and dealing with the public." And I said, "This puts you in danger." Not one of these gentlemen had been vaccinated.
Yeah, not only them, but when they go home to their families, they go home to their children. So they're in an environment where they come in contact with people continuously, and certainly in Louisiana, when nearly 3/4 of the population, of the adult population, is not vaccinated. So that lets me know 3 out of every 4 people I get in contact with on a day-to-day, whether it's at Walmart, whether it's at the gym, whether it's at the school bash, don't have a vaccination.
It doesn't even make sense. We should not be in a 4th wave. If the general public had gotten the vaccines, we had more than we could even deal with.
Yes.
And it just was a matter of going into the pharmacy it's available everywhere, and yet there's this enormous inertia, resistance, hostility, which is just going to cause tremendous problems. And it's like they say about war. In war, it's only the innocents who suffer. Absolutely. And the kids are going to pay the price.
And you said something, very impactful. We've been talking about this for a year and a half. You and I, no less than 2 to 3 days minimum every week, talking about it, let them know where the tests are, what to do, how to mitigate your situation at home, whether at the business, wherever you do when you go out, mask. We've talked out of topics to where we're recircling topics, and you and I are having the same conversation. But when I take a look and I see throughout the state, not only the state, but throughout the South in particular, where 911 systems are being overwhelmed with non-emergency COVID calls. This disturbs me because everybody's talking about it. You turn on the TV, they're talking about it. You turn on my station, they're talking about it. When you talk to the governor, when they go into the office, particularly the Office of Public Health, everyone knows you can go to any pharmacy, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Walgreens, you go to your Office of Public Health, you can go to primary care doctor, you can go to the hospital. But why are they calling 911 to ask where they can get the test and get the vaccine, inundating the calls? Where they had a bad shootout on the Causeway in New Orleans this past weekend, and the people are trying to call 911, and you can't even get through with real legitimate emergencies because people overwhelming the systems with non-emergency COVID calls. What's wrong with the people here in Louisiana?
Well, the hospitals here last week, they reached out to us and they said, "Are you testing every day? Are you vaccinating every day?" I said, yes. We've actually assigned National Guard to the back and the front of the building, one side's vaccines, the testing, one side's the vaccination, because the nurses really couldn't keep up. But the hospitals called because the same folks are showing up in their ERs, and showing up in an ER because you want a shot or you need to get tested. It just is mind-boggling. It keeps them from being able to do what they're supposed to be doing, and that's taking care of the sickest of the sick. So I would just encourage people, every single day we have this going, and our numbers have increased. We were down to 200 shots, regionally a week. A few weeks ago, we're now 800.
Yeah.
So the message is getting through to some people. It's just not enough people.
I see here, even here in Louisiana, with some of this COVID-19 relief money that they're getting, particularly on college campus, maybe even in high schools, where they're going to pay for the school systems to be able to do the testing on a weekly basis in the schools. And I'm thinking they're talking about high school and certainly college. But coming along with that testing is they're going to be paying people. You can get $10 every time you test. So when you do the math on that, from the fall and the spring school year, if you go and get a test every time that it's available, and you can do so, and it's not a bad thing, you got lunch every day. We're talking about $1,000 that you can actually earn just getting the test. If you add that and go to a place like where they're doing $100, and when you add the fact that you can still, sign up for the shots at the $1 million they haven't given away yet, the $100,000, there's a lot of money on the table incentivizing these vaccinations, Doc. And I see even up in New York and some other places have started giving people $100 to get the shot. Is that something that Louisiana maybe needs to start considering, paying them $100 to get the shot, $50 on the first one, $50 when you come back? Because money motivates, apparently, and dying doesn't.
The school thing is very complicated because the districts can actually opt in or opt out,
which is crazy to me.
But every single school that participates will get $30,000.
Yes.
Every school district, $40,000, and the people who participate will be incentivized with cash payments. Essentially,
yes.
It's not cash, but so and they're doing this because they have to figure out how to track the virus in the school in the school settings where a lot of kids may be infected but have no symptoms at all. This is a terrible issue.
Now, we've had kids that have been out of school for well over a year because of the virtual learning. Those leaked test scores are going to be coming out just in a couple of days, on Wednesday, in fact, when the public will know, and parents will know how their children did, and we're expecting those numbers to be very bad. If a school does practice the social distancing, does what we initially did the last school year, because it doesn't seem like they're talking about virtual learning a lot. I see where some college professors, particularly at LSU, are going under the American with Disabilities Act and applying at their universities to opt out of being in a classroom setting where they can have a screen and they can teach their students, who will be in the classroom 300 to 400 deep in the auditorium, while their professor is on the screen. Certainly if they have any ailments or chronic illness that puts them in, a more vulnerable state than anybody else. You think we're going to see a lot of people who are vulnerable, whether in high school, elementary school, and even in college, who are not going to be in the classroom with these children, particularly with no mask mandates, and the fact that most of these particularly the younger children, can't get the vaccine right now?
Well, it's just going to be very complicated because it's not a group where you can the younger age groups, but the older age groups, high school now, our vaccination rate among that age group is probably 10 to 15% max. And those are kids who can get the shot. So we've also approached the schools and said, let us help you, we have National Guard units. We can send them into your schools if you like, and the people that have their consent form and all that, we will vaccinate them. We're also encouraging the school-based health clinics to get as much vaccine as they can and start vaccinating kids. The ideal would have been to have parents of high school-age kids, and junior high for that matter, come in and get vaccinated 4 weeks ago. Because it takes the Pfizer, then the 3 week later for the second one, and then 2 weeks later afterwards. That's 5 weeks. We are right on the verge of opening school.
Now, you've made that appeal to the school districts, particularly here in Rapides. Any buyers? Anybody?
Well, it's hard to say because I'm not privy to all their machinations. So, but they did invite me to talk about what's going to happen and what is happening. And I told them. I said, look, you're going to open up the door, and you're going to have a whole bunch of unvaccinated kids that are with the Delta virus, which is highly communicable, and you are now discussing whether you want to have masks or not.
Wow.
I said, some things were beyond some things, and anyway, so I said, I can't tell you what to do, but I'll tell you what's going to happen. And you don't have a mask mandate, you're going to have a bunch of sick kids, and you're going to have a bunch of closed schools and closed classes.
Wow. Well, when you go to talk to them, I want to give you some advice. Make it like a medical, scared straight talk, because that's the only thing they're going to get. I mean, if you got to bring somebody with you that overcame it, that can tell them what it felt like if their family, if they lost a loved one. You're going to have to bring somebody where it was impacted to let them know, I was like you guys. Now my mom and my dad are dead. Now what are y'all going to do? And my kids are sick. It's going to have to be a medical, because the thought of even dying is not even, that's not even motivating people to go. They'd rather die, not have the vaccine, not get the vaccine. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, I got to peel off to work, man. So.
Okay, we appreciate you, because I can keep you here all day with this topic, but Doc, we appreciate you. And again, people can go to the health unit anytime, get the test, and they can still get the vaccine as well.
Yes. All right. And no cost, no nothing, and bring your darn kids in that's 12 and above so we can get them vaccinated, at least to protect them. And some people are. So, congratulations to them, and I encourage everyone to do it.
Thanks a lot, Doc. You have a great one, all right?
Thank you.
All right, Dr. David Holcomb, and again, folks, what more can we do but speak out the truth and point to the data and show examples of what's really going on. More eyes open when we come back. Don't go away.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria, Pineville.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Mellow Monday. It's a new month. It's the second day of the month of August. News being brought to you by Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist. Go by and see Dr. Ogali Ileye. A man stabbed his grandmother to death and injured his mother Sunday morning, starting a rampage that crisscrossed South Baton Rouge, left 3 more people wounded in gunfire, and ended when he was shot and taken into custody, according to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. The stabbing happened in a home near Perkins Road in the Wimbledon Estates neighborhood shortly after 9 a.m. Sheriff Sid Gautreaux said the man is also accused of stabbing his mother in the neck. She's recovered. Authorities identified the grandmother as 78-year-old Diane Gafford. The suspect, 28-year-old Aaron Morgan. According to the sheriff's office, after the stabbing, Morgan stole a gun and a car belonging to his grandmother and drove to the Highland Park Marketplace Shopping Center, which is on Highland Road near Interstate 10 in the Blue Bayou Water Park. There, he shot 3 people in the parking lot in 2 separate vehicles and stole another car. Those 3 victims, 2 women and a man, were hospitalized with injuries and expected to survive. The shooting happened near Alexander's Marketplace by another stretch of businesses, including an Ochsner's Urgent Care, which was roped off by Crime Tape on Sunday. According to Ochsner Urgent Care staff, Sid Gautreaux, he said, thank God this happened right here at Ochsner's Urgent Care, because the staff rendered aid to all of those individuals, and they're all being transported to a hospital. Deputies later spotted Morgan on Segan Lane, and a pursuit ensued, continuing on to I-10 and ending near the CVS at Bluebonnet Boulevard and Jefferson Highway. Morgan ditched the stolen vehicle in that area, then fled on foot and pointed a gun at deputies. Deputies shot him twice and took him into custody. He remains in the hospital this morning in stable condition and is expected to recover. No motive for the stabbings or shootings was immediately available. A preliminary review of court records show Morgan was never arrested for any violent crimes in East Baton Rouge Parish. He will be booked in Gafford's killing and as well as other shootings after he's released from the hospital. Closer to home in Grand Parish, the Grand Parish Sheriff Steve McCain says a shooting took place at Louisiana's Mudfest during a Zydeco concert at around 1 o'clock a.m. And, of course, Lake Charles native and Zydeco performer Chris Ardoin was shot in the back McCain said multiple people started shooting in the crowd at the large stage. The performer, who was identified by his wife as Chris Ardoin, and a 14-year-old was shot. They have moderate injuries. Grand Prairie Sheriff's Office are looking for suspects. They say they believe from talking with witnesses that 2 black males were involved, one wearing a red shirt, the other wearing a blue shirt. They also say there may have been a third shooter. Of course, Chris Ardoin's wife went on Facebook and said that he's doing fine, but because of his muscular build, he was shot in the back, did not penetrate the back or the ribs or break the ribs, and the doctors say he will recover fine. So she's thanking everyone for their prayers. Sheriff McCain identified the 2 as, well, excuse me, there were hundreds of vehicles trying to leave at once when they received a 911 call that there were 2 people with guns that jumped into running boards of a vehicle that were trying to leave. Presumably the suspect. Sheriff McCain identified the 2 as 24-year-old Zachary Thomas, 30-year-old Ajante Brown, who were both arrested for 2 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm and possession of a firearm, carrying concealed weapon by a convicted felon. Grand Prairie Sheriff's Office does not know yet if those suspects were involved in the earlier shooting that may have shot, of course, Chris Ardoin. So there is 2 separate shootings at this mud fest, and I tell you what, folks, these mud fests, and I don't know what our fascination is with mud, you know, racist term for black people is for them to call us mud people. And the bottom line is they become increasingly violent, particularly when the promoters do not check at the door or the gate for weapons. And when you add alcohol, it is a dirty, deadly mix. An hours-long traffic jam on the Bonnie Care Spillway ended in gunfire late Saturday after a man shot 2 people during a domestic dispute, according to the St. John Sheriff Mike Tigray. This is really weird about this. It appears that the man had just got married to his wife. They were on their way from the wedding when the man and the wife's plutonic male friend got into a discussion, and then he accused the man's, the new wife's best male friend of having an affair with her. Yeah, the bumper-to-bumper traffic was caused by the multi-vehicle collision that occurred around 10:30 p.m. on the spillway in the westbound lanes of Interstate 10. One of dozens of people waiting in the jam was 30-year-old Devin Jose Jones, who was heading home with his wife, as we mentioned, and her friend, her male friend, after his Kenner wedding ceremony. Sheriff Mike Tigray said that at some point during the wait, Jones accused his wife and her friend of having a romantic affair. After an argument, Jones reached for his gun from his tuxedo, presumably, and the wife's friend escaped the car on foot after being shot from the leg. Tigray said Jones shot the man in the leg and shot a bullet into a nearby vehicle, injuring the hand of another driver who was heading home to Lafayette. His wife, fearing for her life, jumped out of the car and ran over to first responders who were aiding the victims of the collision. The team let the wife seek refuge in their ambulance, but soon after, St. John officers found Jones shaking and beating on the vehicle, trying to get the woman. They arrested Jones on charges of attempted second-degree murder, illegal use of a weapon, and plenty of other offenses. Of course, Sheriff Mike Tigray says, I'm just glad nobody get killed. It was a very unusual night last night in the top of my 10 years. Traffic remained backed up until about 3 a.m. in the morning. What a way to start off a marriage. Alexandria Police is seeking any information the public may have regarding a shooting incident that took place on July the 29th in the 3100 block of Chicago and the 3700 block of 14th Street and on August 1st in the 300 block of Bayou Drive. So what we're talking about here is almost 3 separate shootings in Alexandria over the weekend. These injuries have not resulted in any physical injury, only property damage to the residents. Anyone with information or video surveillance, please contact the Detectives Divisions, the Alexandria Police Department. The police here in Alexandria are also looking for the public's assistance in locating a wanted person in reference to the shooting, that incident that took place in the 2900 block of Broadway Avenue. So that's shooting number 4 this weekend in Alexandria. 22-year-old Deshaun Reed of Alexandria, described as being a 6'3" and weighing 175 pounds, is wanted for the second-degree murder. If anyone has any information as to his whereabouts, please contact the Detective Division at 318-449-5099. It's my understanding also that a white male suspect has been taken in custody as a result of the Broadway shooting over this past weekend. Wow, 3 to 4 shootings in Alexandria one weekend. 8th most dangerous city in the country. First responders rescued 15 people from the Amite River Saturday, the third incident in as many weeks involving stranded customers of a popular water sports company. Crews from the Livingston Parish Fire Protection District responded to reports of stranded tiki tubing customers about 3 p.m. shortly after heavy rains began pounding the Baton Rouge area. According to the chief could not immediately say whether any of the tubers suffered injuries. Saturday's rescues marked the third week in a row in which first responders have pulled beleaguered rivergoers from the Amite's treacherous waters. Maybe they should ban alcohol on those tubing rides. That might be a good idea. The callers want to know about where to get COVID tests. Others ask about how to sign up for a vaccine. A growing number dialed in to complain about some of the mildest corona symptoms as 911 lines are being overwhelmed all over the state by non-emergency COVID calls. It puts a huge stress on the system. Yet, as the pandemic rages on, the emergency lines, particularly in East Baton Rouge, have been overwhelmed by people treating it like their own personal Siri or Alexa. Officials say there's been a massive uptick in callers treating 911 like an informational hotline for prosaic questions about the fast-spreading, ever-mutating coronavirus. Says we're getting a lot of 911 calls from the public wanting to get COVID tests and vaccines. According to the Baton Rouge EMS spokesperson Brad Harris, he said it puts a huge stress on the system. Emergency services in the capital region and other cities throughout the nation confronted the same problem in the early months of the pandemic. Now, after a drawn-out lull, the non-urgent 911 calls are again intensifying amid a renewed surge in a virus quickened by the widely contagious Delta variant. A new prison standard that became law Saturday allows nearly 3,000 lifers, habitual criminals, and old-timers, including armed robbers, to apply for parole that eventually could free them from decades behind bars. As startling as that sounds, prosecutors and law enforcement are okay with the change as Act 122 untangles at least one strand from the bowl of spaghetti that basically has levied different sentences for parole eligibilities for the same crime depending on when the person was convicted during the past 3 decades. The state's morass of overlapping and contradictory parole rules and laws were mostly enacted during the war on crime of the 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s, putting Louisiana at the top of the list for per capita incarceration rates, highest in the United States and higher than those in Cuba, Iran, and even Russia. Louisiana is ending jail time for possession of small amounts of recreational marijuana, adding new requirements for doctors administering the abortion pill and restricting when police officers can use chokehold restraints as more than 250 new laws took effect this past weekend. On yesterday, Sunday, in fact, roadways are receiving new names. Candidates for office are newly able to take unlimited sums from political action committees. Rules are being adjusted for when judges must recuse themselves, and a new crime is being added to the books for charging someone with staging a car crash. Restaurants will be allowed to sell prepackaged, pre-measured, ready-to-drink alcoholic beverages for delivery. Louisiana's official state songs list will include Southern Nights by New Orleans native Alan Toussaint, and people convicted of felonies in Louisiana who have been off probation or parole and are out of prison for 5 years will be able to serve on jury duty. Jerry Cephos is running out of options as well as time. On August the 23rd, LSU resumes in-person classes when a mask mandate, but none for vaccines. Those students start moving in this week. Social distancing rules are still up in the air. If Cephos hews to the school's plan, the 76-year-old mass communication professor, whose age and health conditions make him particularly prone to the now more contagious coronavirus, will start teaching a few hundred students in a few hundred-seat classrooms in just a few weeks. Or if he can help it, he'll stay virtual. Social distancing is logistically impossible if we have full classrooms, he said. If the school isn't going to require vaccinations, we have to consider an online option. One of the only ways he can think of to exercise that option is to ask for disability accommodation. This week, Cephos joined a host of fellow faculty members, exactly how many remains unclear, in filing petitions to work out exemptions under the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act. Rosemary Peters Hill is yet another one of them, as many professors that are now teaching at schools that do not mandate masks or the vaccination are opting out of the classroom. and prefer teaching virtually to their students who may be sitting in the classroom. Drawing on millions of dollars in federal COVID-19 relief money, Louisiana is offering the state's 1,700 plus public and private K-12 schools the chance to conduct routine but voluntary testing of students and staff for the deadly coronavirus, whether they are showing symptoms or not. Not only is the state paying for the expense of administering the test, it is offering people $10 each time they get their nose swiped for signs of the virus. That's right. Every time, if you're in the school system, a teacher or student, you get your nose swiped in the school, which you can do daily or weekly, you'll get $10. Those who say yes could mass as much as $1,000 each over the course of the 2021-22 school year. The goal is to provide school leaders with a regular snapshot of the extent of the coronavirus on their campuses so they can act more quickly to limit its spread among students and staff. State officials are about to unveil the first snapshot of the student achievement during the coronavirus pandemic amid forecasts that key test scores will drop shortly. The exams called LEAP 2025 and measure what students know about math, English, science, and social studies. Students in grades 3 to 12 took the test in April and May. The results are scheduled to be released in just 2 days and Wednesday. BESE members are to get briefed by State Superintendent of Education Cade Brumley ahead of the public announcement. Your favorite Baton Rouge restaurant could have been one of many to receive federal grants this week as part of a nationwide program. Some $393 million in federal grants went to more than 1,300 businesses in Louisiana through a restaurant revitalization program in the Baton Rouge metro areas. $48 million was spread across nearly 200 establishments. Nationwide, $28.6 billion was set aside through the American Rescue Plan for the program to help restaurants and their employees who struggled during the coronavirus pandemic as restrictions and operations sought to curb the spread for months. The median grant amount across Louisiana was $110,504, meaning half were for more and half were for less, while the average was about $283,000. Records show in Baton Rouge area the largest grant of $5.8 million, ranking fourth largest in the state, went to DBMC Restaurants LLC, a walk-ons bistro and bar franchise. The second largest for the Baton Rouge was for IHOP on College Drive, $2.2 million, followed by the parent business of Red Stick Social at $2.1 million. Jubans, the Chimes, Uncle Earl's, and Olive or Twist also topped the list. And finally, in May, a storm dumped 13 inches of rain in 6 to 8 hours on parts of East Baton Rouge, Ascension and Eagleville Parish. It overwhelmed drainage systems and flooded neighborhoods, some of which had avoided inundation in the historic 2016 storm. 2 years ago, 5 inches of rain fell in 7 hours in New Orleans, outpacing pumps, swamping streets, stranding cars, and flooding some homes. These storms struck with little warning and gave residents no time to prepare. They weren't named hurricanes or tropical storms, just random thunderstorms that dropped a huge amount of water over a short period of time. New research suggests that kind of weather is becoming more common. Two LSU researchers and a third from Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville have combed through rainfall data from across the southeast United States, including Louisiana. They found that storms on average became shorter but more intense between 1960 and 2017. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Mellow Monday. Have a safe and a blessed day. Introducing Dr. Ogali Ileye with foot and ankle specialist located at the 415 Bienville Street, right behind the hospital in Natchitoches. Every step you take depends on the condition of your feet. Dr. Ogali Ileye is a former college athlete. Also, he has vast experience in sports medicine. As a licensed podiatrist, Dr. Ileye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, nail problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. The professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists, 415 Bienville Street in Natchitoches, can help you get back on the good foot by calling 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Ileye with Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Ileye with Foot and Ankle Specialist, 415 Bienville Street in Natchitoches, the only podiatrist in Sinlock that is one step ahead of everyone else.
Good morning, this is Q Johnson Green with the Eyes Open weather forecast on this Monday, August 1st. Today's forecast is brought to you by Rapides Primary, a new beginning in quality health care. Today, showers and thunderstorms likely in the morning and afternoon, highs around 90 degrees. I'm Ms. Q Johnson Green, that's your Eyes Open weather forecast on this Monday. Have a great day.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
It's time for the scripture of the day. And now, the beautiful Bianca Brown.
Good morning, it's Bianca Brown with your scripture of the day. Today's scripture comes from the book of Zechariah, chapter 4, verse 6. So he said to me, "This is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel, not by my might, nor by my power, but by my spirit, says the Lord Almighty." Today's scripture is being brought to you by the Monroe Street Church of Christ in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you would like to have the mighty power of the Lord on your side, you can do so by contacting the church. You can give them a call at 318-448-2494 and ask to speak with Brother Jesse Allen. Or you can write the Monroe Street Church of Christ at 2008 Monroe Street, Alexandria, Louisiana, 71301. As we always say, we will continue to lift you up in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
It's time for the Daily Bread with Tony Brown.
A family in trouble. Malachi 4, 4 through 6, Matthew 1, 1 through 2. He will turn many of the children of Israel to the Lord their God. Luke 1, 26. Many of America's 30 million white-tailed deer find themselves endangered not by guns but by cars of our expanding suburbs. The author writes, "I was reminded of their plight when a mature doe dashed through traffic just ahead of him. As I watched," he said, "I wondered what had driven her to take such a chance, and why she then stopped on the other side and looked back over her shoulder. As I drove by her, I turned to follow her gaze and saw two small fawns looking helplessly at their mother across the busy street. Instead of following, they turned and walked back into the woods. The family is not alone. We too can find ourselves in circumstances of separation and danger we did not anticipate. Reading Malachi and Matthew reminds us that we are troubled children of troubled parents who desperately need the help of our Father in heaven. Sometimes we need his help to see and avoid repeating the sins of our fathers. That's Nehemiah 9, 2, and 3. Sometimes we need his help to turn back to the example and care of loving parents. Luke 15, 18. Only from our Heavenly Father can we find the perfect forgiveness, example, and inner grace we need. He knows we are all fallen children of fallen parents, and even now he offers us the help of his Spirit and the rescue of his Son. Each day we learn from yesterday of God's great love and care, and every burden we must face, he'll surely help us bear. It's never too soon to turn back to God. I'm Tony Brown, and that's today's Daily Bread.
This is Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria Pineville.
We're back right here in your premier morning news magazine. Q, let's do this. Let's use this time instead of teasing. Let me use this to get some of this national stuff out of the way. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I'm going to start with that California reader where a California mother died after being shot in front of her 6-year-old daughter last week in what authorities said could be a case of mistaken identity. 25-year-old Jacqueline Flores was parked with her daughter in the back seat of her vehicle in Fresno on July 27 when she was shot in the head. According to the Fresno County Police, the release said Flores' daughter was in the car when the mother was shot. Fortunately, the child was not injured, but a bullet did enter the rear window where the child was seated. Officers and emergency officials performed life-saving efforts at the scene, and Flores was transferred to a local hospital where she was listed in grave condition. She died 3 days later. The release said that investigators don't believe that Flores was the intended target. The senseless act of violence may have been a case of mistaken identity. Police are asking for the public's help as they investigate the shooting, encouraging anyone who may have information about this tragic situation. Let's go to the video, Q, and let's bring up the audio over here on the board because I want people to hear the entirety of this video. As video shows a Texas family pleading with an officer on top of a black teen. Yeah, it's going to be a minute. Go ahead and hit the button for people to hear that immediately. Cue. Now, the video shows a Texas family pleading with the officer. Kaufman County, Texas Sheriff's deputy on top of an 18-year-old. She's a child. She's crying like a child. They're identifying her as an 18-year-old black woman, saying, "I can't breathe." The incident is right now under investigation. So when you take a look at the video, the officers did everything wrong as it pertains to trying to de-escalate the situation. Particularly,
Kaya, calm down. Just calm down. She's okay, calm. Just let her get up. Kaya, calm down. Kaya, just calm down. Okay, just calm down. Just breathe, Kaya. Just breathe. She's okay. It's 102 degrees out here. Okay, breathe. She cannot breathe. She's what did you do? No. She hasn't done anything. No.
We'll turn her over if y'all
Okay,
back up.
okay. But what are you going to turn her over for and help her? She has not done anything. She's literally just walking.
There's a lady, one lady, an African American lady that is walking in the middle of the street, and she's trying to get run over.
I'm not going to hurt you, okay? You can't go off like that, okay? I'm not going to hurt you, okay? I'm here to make sure you're okay. You can get in the grass, it's fine. So we got a call that you were jumping out in front of cars. So let you go walking off on okay? Hey, where do you live? Okay, so you can't go anywhere, okay? You got to okay?
You call my sister!
I'm not going to hurt you, okay? Okay. Stop pulling away.
I don't want you to hurt me!
Pull away, I got to put you in handcuffs, though. Stop pulling away.
She was like, no, do not touch me! Back up! Shut up! Just calm down! Stop! It's all right. It's all right. It's gonna get handled. It's gonna get handled for sure.
What we're witnessing is a cop in Kaufman County, Texas, that basically did everything wrong, in my opinion, to escalate a situation. I've never seen a cop. How should I say? In a prone position, almost in a sexual position, with belly to belly, genital to genital, on this 18-year-old child. He's on top of her, prone on her body, with his arms over her arms. To me, I've never seen, that's not a position to hold anybody in. You know, I know he's not on top of her back, but he's on her front. She's crying, hysterical. The parents are there. Rather than, to me, it's reminiscent of Derek Chauvin. You got the whole public saying, man, what are you doing? It's 110 degrees. You're on top of this 18-year-old child who's 130 pounds soaking wet. You know, you outweigh her about 50 pounds, and you're on top of her. And all she's doing is crying. She's having a mental episode, is what I see. She's not being violent towards anybody. She's not being violent towards herself. She's having a mental episode. And you have a cop who is there who does not have the ability to understand the woman is going through a mental crisis, and that all he did was escalate the situation. And when the parents or the loved ones came over there to plead and beg with him to get off of her, he didn't listen. When they attempted to touch him, that's when he got off. And then when they finally got the girl up, the mother's like, you know, the way he was holding her or whatever, but she tried to bump him off. She's looking out for her cub. And I don't expect anything any different. But the cop, I guarantee you, will be losing his job. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. That was wrong. Hit that song up for me, Q. 9 minutes past the hour. Phone lines are always open. This is Eyes Open at 318-483-9977. 318-483-9977. You got a birthday, you got an anniversary, you got something to say, give us a call. Dial my heart at 318-483-9977. It's the boys on this Mellow Monday. This is Eyes Open on FM 107.5 The Vibe, 1110 a.m. KTTP. Good morning.
Introducing Dr. Ogali Ileye with foot and ankle specialists located at the 415 Bienville Street, right behind the hospital in Natchitoches. Every step you take depends on the condition of your feet. Dr. Ogali Ileye is a former college athlete. Also, he has vast experience in sports medicine. As a licensed podiatrist, Dr. Ileye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, nail problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. The professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists, 415 Bienville Street in Natchitoches, can help you get back on the good foot by calling 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Ileye with Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Ileye with Foot and Ankle Specialists, 415 Bienville Street in Natchitoches, the only podiatrist in Cenla that is one step ahead of everyone else.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Cincy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
The Rapides Parish School Board is looking for volunteers interested in helping parents and educators make a positive impact in the lives of young people. If you, your business, your church, or community organization would like to help empower and elevate young people in our community, please consider being a mentor. Effective mentoring has the ability to help children both cope with and overcome many of the obstacles they face in today's world. Please visit our website or social media pages to sign up to partner with educators and parents to ensure the children of Rapides Parish have the supports they need. Let's continue to show the world that Rapides Parish truly is better together.
Right here on your premier morning news magazine. And of course, I hate my state when we're at the top of the list when it comes to bad stuff. And this week, Louisiana has the highest COVID-19 rates in the country right now. Hospital admissions are up 500%. And in the last month alone, and when you add into the equation the fact that children who are not eligible, certainly 12 and under, for the vaccine, are now filling up hospitals. At Our Lady of the Lake, the flagship hospital down in Baton Rouge, the biggest hospital in the state of Louisiana, now has 11 children in with COVID-19, the Delta variant, as we speak. 6 of them are in ICU as we speak. And the hundreds of other young people in their 20s, 30s, and millennials in their 40s who are in the ICU just minutes or days away from being intubated. Many of them begging doctors and nurses, please give me the shot. Please give me the vaccine, at which overwhelmingly doctors and RNAs and CNAs have to tell them, it is too late, sweetie. It is too late. I tell you what, folks, let's go to my man and have a few minutes with the Lieutenant Governor, of course. No stranger to Eyes Open. And this is a segment. You can always hear Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser right here on Eyes Open on the first Monday of every month, right about 8:15. And this morning is no different. Lieutenant Governor, next week we're starting school. We're now hearing that children are now getting this Delta variant, which is 10 times more contagious than the Alpha variant. And we have each school district as an island being able to decide or not whether they're going to have mask mandates. We know that they're mandated on the public school buses, but each individual school coming up with their own guidelines and rules to figure out to mitigate this COVID-19. So how can we be considering putting our kids in school with the rise in these numbers and these hospital rooms being filled up, and of course most surgeries, elective surgeries being canceled as a result? It's almost like we're back at square one from last year. Good morning and welcome back to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, it's heartbreaking to hear this, and especially as we were just getting back on track, opening our doors to tourists and getting the numbers back, putting people back to work, and hopefully this curve can start heading south with people safely wearing their mask and washing their hands and doing all the things we know they need to do to stay safe, and we can see these numbers start to drop, because I can't imagine where we're headed if this thing does not turn around.
Now, right now, we know as far as the only city in Louisiana, of course, Mayor Cantrell just announced a mask mandate back for her city, and of course, mayors have that option to do so. You think that we're headed in a direction to where we're almost back to phase one and we have to mitigate those sort of phase one protocols?
Well, I hope not. I think today the governor's going to make some announcements.
Mm-hmm.
He may require the mask mandate. I can't imagine ever shutting down again. I just don't know if businesses and the economy can handle that. And, I think I know a lot of people that are worried, that are staying home. And I just hopefully we can safely navigate this, keep our doors open, and navigate through it. It's heartbreaking to hear the numbers that we're seeing, and we don't want to lose any life, but it's just it's puzzling and when this thing is going to turn around and head south.
Absolutely. I was feeling quite good about 6 weeks ago, and actually planning for my birthday weekend to head down closer to your way to New Orleans to participate in a jazz festival, which I haven't been probably for 10 years. And I was like, man, it's on the weekend of my birthday. I'm going to head on down with me and my family. That thing is about 3 months away or less. Do you still see these type of tourist activities taking place when we're smack dab in the middle of this fourth wave of this Delta variant? And as far as tourism, has it slowed down, being to the fact that we are the number one carrier of the new COVID-19 cases in the country?
We haven't seen any major cancellations yet. We had one group that opted to go to Dallas as opposed to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
We're cautiously optimistic that we can get over this hump and see it head south. We've got big plans for welcome all of our friends and family to Louisiana for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning on tailgate events at every university in the state, welcoming back all the alumni. We've got big plans to really give us a boost to getting back to as we get open, so all of these restaurants and attractions and shops can get back to making money. And we're hopeful that those plans can stay in place. Jazz Fest, French Quarter Fest can continue to happen, and that's going to take hopefully this curve to head, like I said, in the opposite direction. But we're hoping that'll happen.
Absolutely. Lieutenant Governor, I saw, and certainly we are concerned about coastal restoration. Of course, that's been a big project of yours, making sure that Louisiana is safe. I mean, that's how you cut your teeth down there in Plaquemine as the police jury manager. And of course, during the oil spill, you know, you the squeaky wheel got the grease, and you were barking for us nationally. And you know, you have always been an environmentalist. Really concerned about Louisiana and the eroding coast. I see where the barrier island is spending quite a few, it looks like three-figure millions on the barrier island, where, of course, the pirate and former slave trader John Lafitte used to use as one of his strongholds and his base of operation. So it looks like they're taking that island in order to use that as many of those barrier islands that actually protect a lot of the people in the New Orleans and the Jefferson Parish area. But what is it that I'm hearing about this diversion project that many people are talking about that looks like it's going to be costing taxpayers possibly millions to billions of dollars?
Well, it started out at $1 billion. Now it's well over $2 billion.
Sheesh.
And, you know, they keep saying we got to open up the river like it was 1,000 years ago. It's not the same river. It's a polluted river. And we're finding studies that the state did not make public that says the dolphins will be extinct in 50 years.
Oh, my God.
The scientists in Mississippi says it'll kill 75% of the dolphins. And the dolphin is the canary in the coal mine. It's at the top of the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
If it dies, everything below it. We had the largest dead zone in the Gulf last year ever. Offshore, you get tidal movement 10 to 15 feet every day. In the Baratow Basin, it's less than 2 feet. And we're going to dump all that polluted water in there for what? A diversion cannot build land above the water line. So it's not going to lower storm surge. If we lease the dredge and pump ridges and islands 6 and 8 feet high, it would lower storm surge, protect our coast in our lifetime. Louisiana doesn't need a 50-year plan. We need a 5-year plan. In 50 years, we'll be having the Grand Isle Fishing Road at Baton Rouge. This is a overpriced, oversold project that every coastal project that I've brought it to, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, St. Tammany, voted 100% we don't want it in our backyard. Yet they've already spent $100 million and they don't have the permit yet.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. You know, so you're saying a simpler fix to deal with what needs to be happening with the Mississippi River is getting the silt, by dredging, getting the silt and creating, because I've seen some studies on this where they create these, I don't know what you call them, but they poke into the river and it allows, you know, it's like, I don't know if they're little barriers, but I saw that if they add those, that would increase the flow and that settlement wouldn't just stay laying there dead, building up year after year.
Well, we designed a berm in Plaquemine.
That's it, berm. That's it.
1,000 feet wide.
Yes.
That is certified to lower storm surge 5 feet, and FEMA recognizes flood protection. You build those berms, ridges, and islands, you lower storm surge to the whole coast in our lifetime. But it doesn't make a lot of consultants rich. And unfortunately, the people making the money are making the decisions, and we're pulling the wool over the public's eye. And everybody's scared to speak out because they lose coastal money if they come out against this project. This is the biggest fraud ever pulled over the eyes of the Louisiana people, and we're just not going to stand for it. I only want what's best for the coast. And Mississippi has already sued to stop the diversion on that side of the river because they know it will destroy the fisheries, the oysters, the crab, and their way of life. And fishing is such a big part of our tourism, there will be no fish in the Baratow Basin.
And now, Lieutenant Governor, we know that if this project is approved one way or another, it's not going to happen. It'll probably happen during the next 4 or 5 years. Taking a look at, of course, being a new governor in the office, of course, because we know that you're going to run and you have a good chance of being our next governor. Will something like this fly under your watch? Why are you speaking out? And if they try to buy you in order to make this thing go through?
Here's the problem, Tony, is if we put all the facts out there and just do the right thing, not ram this down people's throat. They've taken full-page ads in the paper saying this is the only way to save the coast. Never before have we spent so much money advertising for a project. That's not what we ought to be doing. We ought to be having the public meetings and really doing what's best for the coast, not what's best for a few people that are making a bunch of money.
That makes sense, my friend. Anything else you want to add there, Lieutenant Governor?
No, let's just be safe and let's turn this curve around so we can get our doors back open to the world, get our economy going, and get people back to work and help Louisiana welcome tourists from all over the world. Wear your mask, stay safe, and God bless you, my friend.
You too. Billy, hold on one quick sec. Let me put a bug in your ear before I let you go. We'll have, that's of course our Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. That's a moment with the Lieutenant Governor. More eyes open when we come back. Don't go away.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria, Pineville.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Mellow Monday. It's a new month. It's the second day of the month of August. News being brought to you by Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist. Go by and see Dr. Ogali Ileye. A man stabbed his grandmother to death and injured his mother Sunday morning, starting a rampage that crisscrossed South Baton Rouge, left 3 more people wounded in gunfire, and ended when he was shot and taken into custody, according to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. The stabbing happened in a home near Perkins Road in the Wimbledon Estates neighborhood shortly after 9 a.m. Sheriff Sid Gautreaux said the man is also accused of stabbing his mother in the neck. She's recovered. Authorities identified the grandmother as 78-year-old Diane Gafford. The suspect, 28-year-old Aaron Morgan. According to the sheriff's office, after the stabbing, Morgan stole a gun and a car belonging to his grandmother and drove to the Highland Park Marketplace Shopping Center, which is on Highland Road near Interstate 10 in the Blue Bayou Water Park. There, he shot 3 people in a parking lot in 2 separate vehicles and stole another car. Those 3 victims, 2 women and a man, were hospitalized with injuries and expected to survive. The shooting happened near Alexander's Marketplace by another stretch of businesses, including an Ochsner's Urgent Care, which was roped off by Crime Tape on Sunday. According to Ochsner Urgent Care staff, or Sid Gautreaux, he said, "Thank God this happened right here at Ochsner's Urgent Care because the staff rendered aid to all of those individuals, and they're all being transported to a hospital." Deputies later spotted Morgan on Segan Lane, and a pursuit ensued, continuing onto I-10 and ending near the CVS at Bluebonnet Boulevard and Jefferson Highway. Morgan ditched the stolen vehicle in that area, then fled on foot and pointed a gun at deputies. Deputies shot him twice and took him into custody. He remains in the hospital this morning in stable condition and is expected to recover. No motive for the stabbings or shootings was immediately available. A preliminary review of court records show Morgan was never arrested for any violent crimes in East Baton Rouge Parish. He will be booked in Gafford's killing and as well as other shootings after he's released from the hospital. Closer to home in Grant Parish, the Grant Parish Sheriff Steve McCain says a shooting took place at Louisiana's Mudfest during a Zydeco concert at around 1 o'clock a.m. And, of course, Lake Charles native and Zydeco performer Chris Ardoin was shot in the back. McCain said multiple people started shooting in the crowd at the large stage. The performer, who was identified by his wife as Chris Ardoin, and a 14-year-old was shot. They have moderate injuries. Grant Parish Sheriff's Office are looking for suspects. They say they believe from talking with witnesses that 2 black males were involved, one wearing a red shirt, the other wearing a blue shirt. They also say there may have been a 3rd shooter. Of course, Chris Ardoin's wife went